I don't know if I could do that. I'm very much in the camp of the ends are meaningless if you don't do the right means.
And that's why your name will never be remembered. And I say that facetiously, but that's the tension that I always have. The tension that I always have in life as a man, and I'll just speak plainly here, is am I willing to work hard and try to do amazing things in life for myself and my family? Yes. But how far am I willing to go, right, to make that happen is always on my conscience. And there's always something else on my conscience that I'm always battling is the greater good. And I'd say certainly the last couple of years working with you on the Matt Kim podcast has certainly opened that up in my mind even more. Like, does the world matter to me? I'd say after the last couple of years working with you, the world matters a lot more to me now. And it's not that it didn't matter a lot. It's just when you were forced and smashed up against new people groups, new worldviews, new ideas, new ideologies, new hatred, new dissent, new models of thinking, which Matt Kim podcast has certainly done for me. I've had my appreciation for the global stage, even as a world traveler and who's lived in so many places, has grown in so many powerful and great ways. But at the same time, I battle with this. Do I care if my name will not be remembered in history? Am I willing to die for this type of stuff? Like talking about the truth and trying to help people unplug from the matrix? Is that the battle that the Lord has put on my soul for me to do? Is my body ready? Is my spirit ready? Is my family ready for? I wrestle with that sometimes. Like, is this something I'm willing to fight for the greater good? And who the fuck is listening? Maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. I think every man has to make their own decision at the end of the day. And what I appreciate about this conversation is it might sound odd in just a span of an hour or so, but even in this small conversation, I feel humbled.
I think that we are stuck in this global historical cycle of ends justifying means.
Yeah.
It's the basis in which every world leader makes their decision. And because we all world leaders make their decision under that premise, societies just fall over and over and over again. Every society out there, actually, if you think about it, it gets worse over time.
Yes. And they eventually go away.
They all go away.
They all go away. I mean,
why doesn't it work? Why, with all these smart people, with all these great ideas, with all this new improving technology, it should actually be the opposite. Society should always be improving, actually.
Yeah.
But somehow, some way, society always goes the other way. And maybe it's because we use this model of ends justify the means. What if we were to try as a society, for the very first time really, where the means are more important than the end? What if we lived in that type of society where how you do things actually matters? Where how you treat people and how you, even if it's not the best economic decision, maybe if it's not the best power play, even if these things were not true, but it's the moral thing to do, what if we just made right moral decisions constantly over and over and over again? We actually don't know where that goes because we as a society have never actually tried that before. It's always what happens, what are the decisions we need to make to justify this goal? Wow. What if we stop being so goal-focused and we start being focused on like what's the right actual decision to make right now? What if we stop planning so far ahead? What if we start living in the moment? What would actually happen to society? I don't know because we haven't tried it. Just a quick break before this video continues. If you haven't signed up for Soju yet, go check it out, soj.oo. It's a social discussion platform that we've created. That's where the community is hanging out. Definitely worth checking out, soj.oo. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, do it now.
We haven't tried it, though. For some reason, I keep thinking about this Austrian painter who tried it, and it worked out pretty well until
it didn't.
And what's fuzzy to me is how it all came crashing down. I think there's many players in the world building for him, and I don't know exactly whether it was one people group specifically, but there were a lot of actors at play in the downfall of that. But it seemed, again, just from history, and even the naysayers of all the fuzziness that happened, pre and post World War II, we all agree, historians agree, that pre-World War II, he did a damn good job.
I think that, as you world build, as you try to take a country further, the obvious thing to do that most people do is, okay, we have our own view, we have our own ideology, we have things we want to do, but in order to achieve goals, we need to make deals. We need to make alliances. And every time you make a deal, you actually do a little bit of sacrifice of your own ideology. Right?
Yes, and your sovereignty, because now
your
you're
sovereignty.
Yeah.
Because now you're beholden
Yeah.
to other countries. Now you have treaties you have to account for that may not align to your true mission.
Yeah.
You have business deals that you have to, in any business deal, both sides lose a little bit. But if you're not considering the other side, what that means is that the United States, every time they make a business deal, is losing a little bit every single time.
Oh yeah.
Because every time you make a deal, it means you don't get everything you want. It's a deal. You negotiate.
It's compromise.
Meaning you're constantly compromising over and over and over again. And you do that compromise in that we want to further a greater good and a greater goal. I get that. Again, I do totally understand that. But we're put in a situation where we're just constantly compromising. And the compromise just build up and build up and build up. And now we're a shell of what our original mission was.
Absolutely. And that's why Doge is uncovering the compromises on compromise on compromise on compromise where nothing gets done, and you end up paying $275 for a nail from the Department of Defense, because that's what they charge you for a nail now. So these compromises have equated to massive waste, massive dysfunction in the way that government operates. And so to clean it all out, flush it all out, right? Maybe a benevolent dictator, and Trump saying, again, we got to give him the next 3.5 years to exact his will. But if everything, again, from your hypothesis comes to pass, better, everything's better under Trump.
I'd probably never make a good world leader, because I think that how you do things actually matters more than the result. And for probably leading a population of people, that maybe not be the best way to. I don't know. Again, we've never tried it. I think my viewpoint is just way too utopian.
Yes,
and it's probably not the best way to see the world to be effective and get things done.
Well, that's what and I'm not equating you to the Karenocracy, but the Karenocracy is a model of let's make sure everybody's okay. Let's make sure everyone's in agreement before we do anything. We don't want to offend this minority here because the minority is actually more important than us, and their voice matters. They're retarded, but DEI practices ensured that they were part of the game. You're not that person, but to make decisions at a policy level that affect a multivariant base of human, with statistical outliers included, the furries, because we got to include them, you will offend, hurt, and dismay many. Well, that's why you would not be a good leader, because you, and it's going to come off as, you know me, I love you. You're too weak from that judgment call decision. You don't want to hurt people, but in the game of politics, you have to be willing to hurt people. That's the game of politics. As a businessman, you can make decisions unilaterally for your business that doesn't hurt anybody. You know this because you've run businesses. If you're in policy, if you're in politics, you will never satisfy everyone. It's impossible. So if you don't have the willingness to have the thick skin to say, there's going to be collateral damage here, so there's going to be some blood on the streets, you're not cut out for the game, Matt, and that's not a bad thing. It just is what it is.
I think that I get that. I think that
I'm too weak. I'm too weak for that too, by the way. I'm in that boat.
I think if you are the president of the United States, for example, and your stated goal is we want to be a free society. We want to be America first. Whatever the stated kind of North Star guiding light, unifying factor is, then there needs to be zero variance of that one thing. And then at the edges, maybe there's variance. You accept some people, certain decisions will be okay with people, not be people, but you can't delineate from the core.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem, is that when you're operating such a large country, that you start stripping away the core beliefs in which you have. You say, we believe in free speech, but actually you can't say that. We believe in freedom of movement, but yet, no, you can't go there.
Yeah.
the people's voice matter, but at the same time, no, we actually don't want you guys to vote.
Yeah.
You know,
Your uncompromising stance is why you will not be good in politics.
but I think you have to be uncompromising in your core. Be compromising in the fringe, be compromising in the edges, because you need to do that in order to move forward.
Well, there needs to be continuity.
But I think the problem is that for most government leaders and most world leaders is that they're willing to sacrifice and compromise on their core.
Everything is the answer. That's why you would not be a good politician, because you would not. You are uncompromising in certain values, as am I. Easy example that I talk about and no problem bringing up every time. If you're going to say, Peter, you're going to be a leader and it is what it is, we have to send money to Israel to bomb other people, I would say, nope, not interested in that at all. But Peter, like, you have to sign. No, I wouldn't sign it. Well, then we're gonna delete you from the timeline. I'd say, well, I probably shouldn't have chosen this path because I knew going into politics, if I in that leadership role, that would be a compromise that I would have to make.
And it's so easy to say that when we're doing that as a thought experiment and hypothetical.
Yeah, but it's also obvious as to why you and I are not in politics.
But if you have
we
to
don't have the spine for it.
Yeah, if you have to make that decision and that decision actually impacts millions of people, then now you're like, fuck, all right, like send them the money.
But some people love that shit. Like you can tell Hillary loves power. Like whenever you see her in old interviews, you can see she just loves the power. She loves being able to push the button and delete people from timelines. You don't have that, Matt. I don't have that.
People at home, people watching, let me know. Do you believe that a benevolent dictatorship is possible in the United States? Is it something that we should allow? Because it's not something that we will choose, but it's something that we will either allow or disallow.
Should we try it?
Is it worth the try? And if you try it, is there ever coming back from it?
Oh, there's no undo button?
There's no edit, there's no delete.
Oh, fuck.
Thanks for watching the clip. If you want to see the full episode, click here. If you want to see more clips, click here.